Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about my main theory for everything, this whole conspiracy theory thing. I've got a theory that I've kind of been formulating in my mind for a while now, like decades. But before I get into that, I'm going to just mention that this is Wednesday morning, and Val Kilmer died yesterday. I'm not a big celebrity worship person or anything like that, but Val Kilmer, he was in a few good movies back when I was a kid, and a few of my favorite movies actually when I was a kid. And I just figured I needed to mention him because I've got some fond memories of him in Real Genius and Top Gun, and then Tombstone, of course. Doc Holliday. He portrayed Doc Holliday. His portrayal was just iconic. It was like Heath Ledger as the Joker. You know what I mean? So yeah, I figured he deserved a mention here. I haven't really, since Tombstone, I haven't really enjoyed any of movies he's been in since then, but he was in a few movies back in the day that I really like. So I'd like to say rest in peace to old Val Kilmer there. And now about my theory, and my theory hinges on one thing. One main idea, and that has to do with time. I actually read a series of books. Started reading them when I was younger. It's just a really long series, and it took quite a while to finish the series. Robert Jordan actually died before he could finish it, but it's called The Wheel of Time, and the core idea of that book is that time is cyclical, okay? And that idea, I got that idea from that book, and that kind of, got me thinking about that over the years, not no sudden bright inspiration, just throughout decades. And then, over the years, I hear that all of the ancient and older cultures, they saw time as cyclical. It wasn't really until the advent of Christianity and Western civilization that we started seeing time as linear. Okay? And that's really the core of it. Because the way you see time changes everything. Now, if there is no beginning and no end to time, that's completely different than a cyclical thing where, it begins and ends and begins and ends and, over and over again. Many beginnings and many endings versus none at all, ever. This idea of a linear view of time is relatively new to humanity, to our species. And another thing, when I look at that idea, when I think about that idea, and I think about the universe, time in the universe, created by the universe, created by nature, time is really the only thing that is a straight line, that is not fluid and harmonic, right? You can take literally millions of examples. A beating heart, woo 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 woo. The tide ebbs and flows. There's all kinds of examples like that throughout the natural world and throughout the universe. The orbits of planets, right? Around and around. And then the orbits, they go in and out like that too. And even our moon Our moon is actually moving away from us now, but we don't know if it will start coming back toward us at some point. So everything we see is in this harmony like that, and it goes to one extreme and then back to the other and then back and forth like that. And that is represented in the eternity symbol, right? Because you go like a sideways 8 around like that. So, and in the middle of that circle, you have like right here at this red line here will be a rise, and the blue line would be a fall, right? The rise of civilization or the fall of civilization. So there's that. And once you get your mind wrapped around that, the rest of the stuff kind of just falls into place. Okay? So say time is cyclical, and things happen over and over again. Not the exact same things, but it's a cycle, our whole era, epochs. And that's what the Maya believe. I think their calendar they had, I think, 3, but the main one that they used was a 26,000 year cycle, I think. I could be off about that. And I apologize for when I do this kind of stuff. I think it's 26,000 years. I don't have time to do really deep research. I know I'm within a few thousand years, you know what I mean? It's something like that if my memory is failing me. But hopefully one day I'll have more time and I can tell you exactly how long it is. But I'm just going off my memory. So if time is cyclical like that, and ages come to pass, and ages come and go, okay, then humanity rises in technology and then it crashes. They go back down, right? So, and then we build back up again. And that just makes a lot of sense to me. Now they're digging up all this ancient technology. I don't know if y'all have heard of Graham Hancock, but he's a big thing about the ancient technology. And that just makes a lot of sense to me, because the ancient technology thing. Because what do we know? Okay, let's forget all the other stuff. What do we know for sure? We know that people are on the planet Earth. That's what we know for sure. Now, never seen aliens, never seen Anunnaki or giants or Bigfoot or anything like this. None of that other stuff has ever been seen. Okay, we have no proof of any of that. That's just stuff that those are theories. Those are theories, just like the Big Bang Theory, right? Just something that, okay, somebody came up with an idea and that fits there. So I'm gonna put that down in a book or something. So it's interesting and it becomes popular. But what we know is that human beings are here. So it is physically possible, off of what we know, human beings being on the planet, that human beings have risen, had technology in the past, and then their society collapsed, just like, some kind of apocalypse, some kind of maybe it was a meteor, maybe it was an ice age, maybe it was just stupidity, maybe it was war, all of these things, just like we think that maybe it was a zombie apocalypse. We don't know. And if you think about it, right now today, in the jungles of Africa and South America, we have primitive hunter-gatherer tribes who live alongside of fairly advanced technological societies. All right. So I saw this thing where they've discovered these little trinkets and different things and different drawings and stuff of flying ships and little golden model of an airplane and stuff, right? So now, Imagine that a scientist from today, which happens all the time, go to study one of these tribes and go, hang out with them for a while. And an airplane flies overhead. Now, that most people would point to that airplane and say, try to explain to the tribesmen, we built that. That's ours. Here, let me show you. I'll draw a picture of it in the dirt. Or here, I've got a notepad here. I'll draw a picture of it for you. That is that. We built that. And then take another step. And these aren't great, long, crazy leaps of faith and shit. This is just common sense stuff. This stuff would happen, right? I would do this shit myself. Okay, so think about the tribe. Think about them, how they would record their experience. Okay, they would write it down as these people have boats that shoot fire out of them, and they go up in the sky, and all this other shit. Or they might make a golden trinket or some kind of trinket out of the picture that the guy drew for them, and it would kind of look like an airplane or something like that. You know what I mean? So they would come in contact with the more advanced civilization, and then tell that story about that civilization and record their encounters with that advanced civilization, and it would sound like they were gods. It would sound like we were gods. Now, I'm not saying that the hunter-gatherer people worship us as gods right now. I'm not saying that. But if they record it, those interactions down, and in 1,000 years somebody finds those recordings, that it would seem that way. Okay? Oh, they thought they were gods. They were flying around with fire in the sky and shit. You know what I mean? And that's just common sense. Those aren't great leaps of logic and stuff. That's just human nature. That's what would happen. They'd write the shit down. If I come in contact with some crazy advanced civilization and saw them shooting blue beams out of their guns and doing the levitating and shit, I would write it down in a little more sophisticated language, maybe, because just because I know the mechanics of writing and storytelling better than maybe a primitive tribesman would. But still, I would say the gun shot blue beams out of it and stuff, not and they were flying around in the sky, maybe levitating, but to them, to an advanced civilization, that shit, my recordings would seem primitive and barbaric. They're like blue beams, that shit, and it would just be common knowledge of what that blue beam was, and you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so the recording of that, that just screams to me of those people recording their interactions with another human or humans that were just more advanced in technology. And then we find these recordings, hundreds, thousands of years later, and we're misinterpreting them. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be some kind of big crazy conspiracy theory about space aliens or all this other stuff. It's just a simple logic. It's that simple. They looked at some shit and they recorded it as they saw it. And what is the most likely thing that they saw? Other people. That's the only other thing, the only other sentient, sophisticated species on the planet. That's the only species on the planet who builds and can make shit that flies and stuff is people. So most likely 99.999% chance they were looking at other people, not Anunnaki or aliens or giants or any shit like that, gods and all this other shit. They were just looking at another advanced civilization. And when that advanced civilization collapsed, we just started spreading around the world again. That's why they find this stuff from millions of years ago that doesn't fit into the narrative. They found a hammer embedded in solid stone from like 4 million years ago. So you can't, because time is cyclical. It keeps going around and around. And I want to put this out there that it's not like I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe, you don't believe that there is life on other planets. Yeah, I definitely believe that there is life on other planets and other star systems. I 100% believe that. If I had to bet my life, I would bet that there is life out there. Now, if I had to bet my life that other life, those other species have been here, I would bet against that. No, I don't think they've ever been here. I doubt they ever will. I think if we go out looking, we will never find anyone. It is just too large. Large isn't the right word. Humongous, just unbelievably massive. None of these things even come close to scratching the surface of how enormous the universe is. So to find another species out there is just, the odds are just astronomically stacked against it, or for them to find us. Okay. It just, no, I don't. Math is a pretty good thing to stand on, because it's not subject to emotions and opinions and stuff. Just work up the odds and then make a decision. And another thing I'd like to say about conspiracy theories is when I talk about the ones I believe in, right, or the ones I can't buy into or whatever, I'm not arguing against them. I'm just telling you what I believe. Conspiracy theories are fun. They're supposed to be fun. You have your different kinds. The ones that deal with the government, the JFK assassination and shit like that. Right? And trying to figure out what the government's doing behind the curtains without our knowledge. That's in one category of shit. Okay? Those are the ones that people are actually seeking for the truth and trying to bring that shit to light. All right? And the truth is there to be found. It's there. There's evidence. There's proof of that. Okay? Because they did it, or they didn't do it, or whatever. And then you have the other conspiracy theories like mine that I'm talking about today, where they're just fun to think about. Flat Earth and Anunnaki and Bigfoot, ghosts, ghost hunters and shit, that kind of stuff. At the experience, afterlife experiences and shit like that, right? The people who come back and say that they had an experience while they were dead, that kind of stuff. Now that stuff is just fun to think about and ponder, and so the last thing I want to do, honestly, and I'm being perfectly honest here, the last thing I want to do is get a flat earther to start believing that the earth is round. The hell with that. I don't want to do that. You're having fun with the flat earth thing? Go for it. I would like to go out there and help you look for proof that the earth is flat. That would be a blast. I would have a blast with that shit, whether we found any or not. It would be fun. So, no, I'm not trying to disprove any conspiracy theory of, on that side. Now, the government shit's different. Yeah, I want to prove or disprove that shit. That's real stuff that we need to figure out. The other stuff, those things are fun. Are we ever going to be able to absolutely prove that aliens have visited the earth, or that, the earth is flat, or that, Bigfoot exists, or that ghosts exist, or any of this stuff? It's highly unlikely. But we can have fun thinking about this stuff and looking for evidence. It's a hobby. Some people collect comic books, and some people look for evidence of aliens. That's fine. That's awesome. It's something to engage your mind and you enjoy and stuff like that. So no, I'm not trying to convince anybody that the rabbit hole that they're enjoying, going down and looking for proof and evidence and all this. I'm not trying to convince anybody to stop doing that. No. I'm just telling you why I personally, can't buy into this one or that one or whatever. We each buy into our own little conspiracy theories, those of us who are conspiracy theorists and enjoy that stuff. We each have our own rabbit holes that we go down. And that's the way I think we should see that stuff. It's a hobby. It's fun. So yeah, I don't want to try to disprove anybody's fun conspiracy theory and pour water on anybody's birthday cake or anything. Just, dude, have at it, man. Look for that shit. Prove that shit. You know what I'm saying? Have fun doing it. Have a blast. Yeah. Because my conspiracy theories, the ones I like and the rabbit holes I go down are probably bullshit, but the hell, I'm going to have fun doing it. Okay. So anyway, back to my theory to rule all theories here. But the way I see that, the cyclical time and the whole idea of that it being an ancient race of humans who had an advanced technology and then their society collapsed, that ties a bunch of these other conspiracy theories together. Okay? Now, in Area 51, they could very probably have some technology from the past, from humanity, that humans invented in the past. I mean, that's likely. That's just as likely as aliens. They dug up, maybe some farmer was plowing a field and dug some shit up, hit some shit, and the government swooped in, took it, and took off with it. You know what I mean? And hid it down in Area 51. That just sounds more plausible to me than the alien thing. That kind of stuff. And all of the descriptions from the ancient texts and all that of fire in the sky and these people blasting off and with the flames and all this stuff, they could be very well describing other people that just were a lot further advanced technologically than they were. And that makes sense to me, that all that thing, the ancient technology and the cyclical time, wraps all that stuff up in one decent package. And that might explain some of the stuff in DNA and stuff that we find irregular or unexplainable in us and in the animal kingdom, right? So our DNA's been tampered with and stuff. I hear this a lot online. You see this kind of stuff a lot. Well, an ancient technological race, we're tampering with DNA now. So they could have tampered with DNA back then. They could have been breeding stuff in labs and all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? We could literally be an offshoot of that. Maybe in a lab it was the experimental DNA humans that survived the catastrophe. Maybe we're not the original humans, you know what I'm saying? And we're the ones who were being grown in a lab or whatever, and we just happened to be the ones that survived. That kind of stuff. So that you can explain all of that stuff with things that we know that exist on planet Earth. You don't have to go making up races from the stars or all this other stuff. You don't have to go inventing things for this idea. We're already here. Humans are here. I don't have to make up, you know, a a spaceship that can travel 150 million light years overnight and all this shit. I don't have to make all that shit up. All I have to do is look at our technology now. We can modify and screw with DNA now. We can do that. We can crossbreed animals and shit and splice DNA and all that shit. We can do all that shit now. So they could have done it in the past. Look at the platypus. Tell me somebody didn't invent that damn thing. Somebody wasn't screwing around in a lab and made the platypus. You know, that kind of shit, dude. So yeah, all that shit is explained if you just look at it in a realistic light at what we have today, humans and human technology. Then you look at these ancient scripts and these ancient carvings and shit, and then instead of transferring it to another star system umpteen gillion miles away, you just transfer it to a different era of humanity. Okay, so back then, if they had a very high technology equal to or above ours, okay, then what? How would I explain it now? And here's another thing. Now, if society ended right now, in 1,000 years, nothing would be left of us. I mean, there would be zero trace, because all of our building materials and stuff, we don't use like solid stone and stuff anymore. We use cinder blocks and wood and stuff like this, right? And steel, which rusts, and there would just be nothing left. In 1,000 years, 10,000 years maybe, there would be absolutely nothing left of our society. There would be zero. The stuff that would be left in 10,000 years, the pyramids, they would still be there. All these pyramids all over the world would still be there. But none of our stuff, none of our skyscrapers and all this shit would even be there. They would turn completely to dust and just blow away in that amount of time. They seem eternal when you look at the New York skyline and stuff. They seem eternal. Oh yeah, New York. But let the power go out for 10,000 years, it would just be flat. The trees would grow in there, plants would grow in the cracks and bust the shit up, and rain would get in there, and it would just, literally, it would be dust. You wouldn't be able to tell there was ever a human being who lived in New York in 10,000 years. It would be just like any other natural landscape. So that right there kind of says something to me as well, because anything, when you get to a certain advancement in technology, you start building with things that are strong but easier to manipulate, like cinder blocks or 2x4s and shit like that, right? They're lighter, they're easier to transport, they stack easier, and this kind of stuff. You figure things out. So we could have had a civilization as big and as advanced as we do today. We could have had that 50,000 years ago, and there would be no trace left of them. Not an atom. You know what I mean? It would be completely gone. The only thing that would be left was stuff that was built out of granite and stone, like the Roman roads. The Roman roads have lasted several thousand years because they didn't use the same cheap, easy materials that we do now. Our roads would be gone, completely gone in 1,000 years. Our roads, they'd be, you wouldn't even be able to tell that they were ever there. Now, I'm sure that some of you, if you think about this, and you'll see the logical, common sense connection to all this, right? And the key part is that time is cyclical. And when you grow up, when you're basically indoctrinated, right? We're indoctrinated into the idea that time is linear. It's not if you grew up in an environment where time was cyclical, that a linear timeline would seem stupid. It would just seem ridiculous. But time is one of those elusive things that you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't, so we can't really tell for sure. All I look at is all the rest of the universe. Everything is circular and rhythmic and harmonic. Nothing in nature, nothing made in the universe except by man that we know of is straight or 90-degree angle. Hard angles or straight. Everything is organic and flowing and like that. You know what I mean? So why is time not like that? It either it is like that, and our perception of it, our idea of it, is just been manipulated to be incorrect, or time is somehow special in the universe. It's the only thing in the universe, in the entire universe, that is straight, that doesn't veer and flow and you know what I mean, and ebb and all this stuff. It's the only thing in the entire natural universe with just a solid straight line. So yeah, that makes me wonder about that. Is time straight? Is time linear? Is there no beginning and no ending? Or if you want to buy into the Big Bang thing, a beginning but no ending, or maybe there's supposed to be an ending, but it's all straight in between. And that's another thing. We look at the universe like that, in a way that it's a straight line, and we look at it in a tiny slice of time, right? So we look at the universe, the entire universe, and we've discovered that it's expanding. So what happens if we follow that out? If you project that outwards, then the universe just dissipates. It flies apart and just dissipates. They call it the big freeze or something like that. Okay? And the same thing with the moon. The moon, its orbit around the Earth is expanding. So they say one day it's going to fly off and we'll lose the moon. All that kind of stuff. Now that doesn't fit into the whole universe model either. When you think about it and look at the rest of the universe, it's like this, right? So the universe will expand to a certain distance and then come back, and then expand and come back. That sounds more in tune with everything else in the universe, right? Everything else in the universe is harmonic like that. It's a beating heart. And the same thing with the orbit of the moon. Maybe it goes out to a certain distance and then comes back. But all we see now in our short lifetimes is that it's moving out, 1.5 inches a year or some shit like that. So, obviously it's going to fly off. But maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe that's not how it works. The only time I can see that they could honestly say that with 100% certainty is that when it flies off. If they see it shooting off into the distance, they could, well, the moon left, So, yeah, I just question all that kind of stuff about, after looking at the universe and seeing how everything works, I question anything that's in a straight line now. And that time is one of those. I don't think that that's the way it is. I think that time is cyclical. And I think that we're most likely coming close to, and you can say that in a way, we're coming close to the end of an era or the end of an age. But that's relative, right? When you're looking at the whole length of an era, you know, getting close could be 1,000 years. You know what I mean? The era could end in 1,000 years from now, and it would still be true to say that we're getting close to the end of an era. So that, you got to think about that too. I don't know if it's going to happen in 3 years or 3,000 years, but I think we're getting close. We're getting close to, they talk about that great reset, and that I think there's more to that than meets the eye. That great reset might mean a complete reset for all of humanity, to restart from, basically the Stone Age. And that there's a lot of evidence for that, and once you start looking around at it and looking at it from the right angle, you got to look at it from the right angle and think about, hey, maybe it's not aliens. Maybe it's not giants or whatever. Maybe it's not whatever. You got to look at it like, what if it was people? What if it was? What if it was us? And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll put that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll leave that link down in the description too. Thank you very much to those of you who do that. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. T-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. I'll leave that link down in the description as well, just in case you're interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out a lot. Thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate those of you who do that. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.